Now, they have savaged all aspects of black people in the media, in Hollywood. There's only one person that they wasn't able to savage, and that is the black woman past 60 years old into 70 and 80. She just exudes all that is good. She surpassed the white woman leaps and bounds. It's just, you just can't think of an old black woman as being fucked up. She might be an asshole. But the icon of all that is pure on the world stage is the black woman past 60. Especially 70 and 80. This is an icon that's worldwide. So this is the last frontier that they had to savage. They've savaged black children, they've savaged the black male, they've savaged the black female. Prostitutes, pimps, drug dealers, all that. The only person they have not been able to savage was the grandmother. And that's where we draw the fucking line. We going to war. We going to fucking war. Mark my word, we going to war. We already done started the war. We'll go into that science in the metaphysical aspect to kick ass. So this ain't just no stuff we dealing with here. We going to the powers of the dark side. So don't get all scared. We'll explain what that is. The stuff that they don't want you to know about, which is your science and your African power. Now, they're getting ready to savage the grandmother. They first introduced this thing with the Nutty Professor 3 years ago. But they made it such a Disney icon until it's a movie that you can just show to everybody. It's so funny, whatever. And they show the basic, fundamental black family. Although they got them all fat and stuff. But, good wholesome movie. Pattern off the original Jerry Lewis Disney flick. But, that's to bait you to accept the other thing, and they're going to run it past you, and you're not even going to get it. But you're going to get it today. They're getting ready to savage the grandmama, because the one that's going to get real freaky in this is the 80-year-old grandmama. Now, have you seen this? They've never had a commercial on TV in the history of commercials in the media where somebody drops their drawers on primetime television. And they got the grandmama standing up there, dropping her dress after Eddie Murphy, and then dropping her drawers. And they're going to savage you. Then they got, if you go to the movie, they have a trailer where she gets naked, jumps in the pool, and goes down to give him head. They savaging the black woman, the grandmama, 80-year-old grandmama. This is the last frontier, but they mean that they don't give no respect to nobody. So she jumps in the pool, in the jacuzzi, and goes in there and gives him head. And he jumps. But they've been showing it all over the country where she stands up, she takes her dress and drops her dress and drops her drawers. And that's what they do based on savaging you. And they show these things all over the world. There's no such thing as local TV. We get this stuff in China. So the Chinese will say, oh, so that's how the black grandmama is. And this was a form of mind control, how they savage you every day. Savage you every day. See where I'm coming from? So they're getting ready to do that because that is going in for the kill. It's a psychological warfare. If they can doggone dehumanize you, then they can exterminate you, or when you look up and you're already exterminated, the people go, well, you know, those people were savages. They've already convinced the Africans Let's cut this shit out now. Come on now. I ain't telling you no stuff I made. I'm telling you what the Africans say. I got Africans to say, yo, man, when we little, the white man come and he show us pictures of you and say that you savages. Anybody ever heard this stuff, this science before?
Tribe, People Collective. You already know what it is. It's the Initiate, episode 7 of our live stream where we talk about various topics. Today we're talking about media, Medea, and Madea. But if you couldn't catch that, you'll figure it out very shortly. But before I get into that, let me introduce the co-host to the show. Let them know where you're from and what your name is.
What's good, everybody? I am Breeze from the shores of Lake Erie.
Mhm.
Um,
The monsters of Lake Erie. You feel me?
for real. Um, Author of Moon Day: A Practical Approach to Astrology. Also an alchemist. I read natal charts, read tarot cards. Um, and yeah. Fourth of the initiates, and yeah.
Peace to the tribe, peace to the collective, Sacred Serpent, Sacred Dark Serpent, Sacred Serpent Media, FlameOnShop.com, Initiates for the Flame, Initiates for the Flame Substack. We happy to be back. Happy to have a big bro back on a nice, simple evening. So let's get to it.
What's up with it, guys? It's your boy AD, known as Alex. How y'all doing tonight? Of course, shout out Flame One Shop. Really been in my ashwagandha bag. Really just been working on just making sure I'm not overstressing myself with my hormones. Helping my body, rejuvenate as I stress it out during workouts. So, of course, when it comes to readings, consultations, building your body, hit me up. I'm your man, and be on the lookout. Got a competition coming up. I'm gonna be streaming it.
Type shit. Well, this is the part of the show that I like to call the infomercial. Whereas if you don't support yourself, can't guarantee your mama gonna support you. You know what I'm saying? How many niggas say, you know what I'm saying, my family members buying all my products, keeping me in business. I know I can't say that. But at the
Fuck.
same but at the same time, bills still gotta be paid. So, let's introduce these brothers' products, goods, and services before we get to the bill. Peace to the family, peace to the collective. Make sure you like the video, share the video, and subscribe to this channel if you haven't already. What am I looking at on the screen right there?
Right here is the moondaymistic.com, where all people can learn how to be their own moon day mystic and learn how to interact with a moon chart with the practical approach to astrology moon day book. And this is a workbook that my big dog put together. He's been working on this for really a long time, so it's not something that's just been thrown together. It's something that's really been curated over lots of practices, hypotheses, studying the charts, studying the constellations, and being like, you know, what am I observing and how can I make it practical? This is what that book is entitling.
Yeah, and I appreciate that, AD. And to add to what he just said, um, the overall purpose of this book is to allow you to build an understanding about astrology, referencing your own energy. And through studying your own energy, being your own chart, um, you can deepen the connection of studying astrology. The whole goal is for you to be your own reference for astrology, not the internet. Internet could supplement it, but it'll stick better.
Appreciate that, brother. Link is in the description to this video. Put a link in the comments. Make sure you get this book because it is very important to understand the astrology of the time, understand the astrology of you, because when we get into this Tyler Perry chart, you're going to realize the stars never lie. It's only them used car salesmen. Them the only motherfuckers that lie. But um, what is this site right here? What am I looking at right here though? You muted, big buddy.
This is the Flame On shop, right? This is where you can get at all of our products and all one bunch, known as herbs, consultations, site building, Moon Day, Dispel the Fiat, all of our books. And then this is where you can just tap into all that. And our YouTube is connected. But you can't also forget, our moon bands. I got them on, flexing with them now. So I recommend you guys get you some of those as well.
Yes, sir, man. Let me get my shit in real quick, man, and we can get into the conversation.
No, we got to.
WhiteRabbitPsych.com, man. You already know what's going on. Got a few apes of the Enigma. That shit moving like crack in the 80s, man. I ain't even gonna lie to you. I can't keep that shit for longer than a week. But it's still a blessing, and I'm always grateful to be able to be in this position to provide the medicine that the people will be really into. But before we get off of this, free and clear super stack bundles always going to be 50% off till I feel like not putting them at 50% off, just because I want people to try the different botanicals that we putting together. So if 50% is not an intriguing discount, I don't know what else is. I might as well give them away for free, but that's why we call them free and clear capsules. So man, check out White Rabbit Psych if you into your mental health, nootropics, dried fruit. Got the best treats in the game, hands down. You forget that the goddamn shroomies is in it. You feel me? But yeah, man, appreciate the love. But let's get into the conversation. Anything y'all gotta say before we go any further?
Make sure y'all really check out that Spell of Fiat and Moon Day.
So this right here is Tyler Perry's chart.
So with Tyler Perry, what's been going on with Tyler Perry? Like, how's he been, staying among? Because I'm pretty sure everybody knows who Tyler Perry is for every single black movie, relationship, marriage, cheating, beating, emotional trauma abusing movies.
I don't know if this rerouted.
My bad, I'm dealing with an emergency right now. I'll be right back.
You good.
Good. Hold on.
Since I can control screen, I can pull up what's
All right,
been
what's the
going on.
word?
Here, I can pull up what's been going on with Tyler because I'm bringing up why we just bringing his chart because it's like we got to see the issue that's been going on in hand with Tyler Perry.
So I'll say right off the bat, you know, what stands out is obviously this stellium in Virgo. You know, he got Moon conjunct Jupiter, which is insane. You know what I mean? Like he's damn near billionaire status. You know, this man owns a compound in Atlanta, or no, in somewhere in Georgia, the greater Atlanta area, um, where it's basically an old military base. It's literally the Black Hollywood, you know, Black American Hollywood, if you will. Um, and that is in the second deacon of Virgo, which corresponds to the card Nine of Pentacles. And I believe the Nine of Pentacles is wealth or abundance. And then you have it conjunct with Jupiter, and then all of this is in the 12th house. This is kind of crazy. He's a very dominant force when it comes to um influencing. 12th house deals a lot with like
Yeah.
leadership, being able to be a person that can be the face of something, and really be able to be successful with it. Usually people with 12 house dominant energy are captains of like sports teams, presidents, principals. um it's almost like they, whatever their purpose is, they somewhat transcend it to a level that, to the level of the highest degree. You get what I mean? Like this person is someone who acts in their movie, plays multiple roles, produces their movies, directs their movies, write their movies, and just got like a straight up empire. Um, that really like that really jumps out. All these planets in Virgo. Um, then his son is in Leo. So this is actually a period of right after a new moon.
Mhm.
He was born during a waxing crescent.
He was born during the waxing crescent.
Yep.
Wow. Have you ever seen that before?
Yeah.
Well, what's that? Where's that moon at in Virgo?
Yes. In Virgo conjunct Jupiter.
I think I actually got something for that.
He's actually super dominant in communication as well.
Mm-hmm.
Like he has the gift of gab. You know what I'm saying? But when you talk about the way you described it, like he's like basically a walking conglomeration all in himself. He's a one man
Yeah.
army. He's a one man
Yeah.
army. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
How
Yep.
they used to say about Jimi Hendrix back in the day, the one man band. Like
Mm-hmm.
he's the band, bro.
Yeah. Yep. Yep. That's a perfect analogy. And then you got, the sun and Leo, just about. So Leo in this aspect is a performer. You know what I mean? Someone that can be in the spotlight, someone that can be on the stage,
Right.
someone that is like, yes, look at me. You know what I mean? I am the shit to some degree. It's so many people, it's a lot of actors, just like we got a lot of rappers and musicians, singers that have heavy sun energy in like Libra and Gemini. A lot of actors have energy in Leo because they're just good at being the center of attention. But I think it's interesting that is conjunct his south node. His sun is conjunct his south node. So kind of want to say it's like this soul really came back
Mm-hmm.
with some knowledge already. You get what I'm saying? Like to continue what he already did, not to do something new. You know, this Tyler Perry could have been someone in a past life who was, a theater kid in the 1800s. You get what I'm saying? Maybe someone that went to Juilliard in the early 1900s, if it was open by that time. Um, yeah, very, very much a leader in what he do. A very big influence in what he does. He really got people careers in his hands.
Could you maybe speak to the detachment that shows up in his chart? Because I see detachment and an unwillingness to give up on those same past lives you referenced.
Hmm.
Like I wonder if that's the thing, if that was the hang up with him. But like he always talks about his mom and being touched and being touched as a kid and
Hmm.
just basically having it rough growing up. So I
Hmm.
wonder if that's just if that's the offsetting to his drive, so to speak.
Yeah, I would say it kind of is because he got Saturn in the seventh house in Aries. We know the seventh house deals with like relationships.
Hmm.
It deals with like one-on-one relationships, conflicts with other people, you know what I
Sort of
mean?
like mother son, father son.
Yeah, I would say it's a little bit of that, but then you also got, well, not to jump around just yet, but like with Saturn and Aries, he might have felt a bit of silence with who he was as a child. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
He might have not been able to fully express himself as a child
Mm,
with that Saturn and
mm.
Aries. And then
That,
especially it might have been hard to express himself to his mom, to his
hmm
grandmother, to his dad. So he
hmm
might have spent a lot of time just frustrated and really not knowing how to like assert himself in the world. I remember seeing an interview, it might have been Oprah or like 60 Minutes, but he was saying like how his dad was abusive and he used to hide up under the porch at
hmm
home.
I remember that.
Um, and then you got Venus in the 10th house. Usually, that 10th house is usually dad. You know what I mean? That's the house of Capricorn. Um, but it's very interesting to me that you got the house of Capricorn with the constellation of the mother, and Venus is there, which is the planet of like love, responsibility. Um, so I think once again, it probably was a little difficult for him just as a kid to really, really feel like he was appreciated, may have not really understood um, why he was even here at a younger age. I think he really understood who he was as a person once he got into his adulthood. You know what I mean? Like maybe late 30s.
So, would you say that the inability for him to be heard as a youngin is the reason why he's probably so dominant in communication now? Or one of the impetuses as to why he is so dominant in communication now? Because he
Yeah.
never was heard. So now he's got so many modes of opportunity to express, right? So now he
Hmm.
expresses in writing and the acting and the, you know what I mean? Like he does it
Right.
in all facets. So like he gets to channel himself in all different areas all at the same time type shit.
Yeah. 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 No, I think you said it perfectly. You know, and it could be something like. you know,
Hello?
not saying this is him, but like it could be kind of how like some people have a schizophrenic disorder, you know,
Mm-hmm.
but in his
Or like
case, it's just
Tourette's
like,
or something.
yeah, but found a niche for it though. You know what I mean? He
Mm-hmm.
found a way to really make the most out of it
He
through,
found a mode of expression.
for
Well,
all the aspects of himself.
and when you like really see where that is pointed to, is that Moon. I mean, I'm sorry, Pluto and Sun conjunct each other. You know what I'm saying? Because he had to find a trend. It was like a transformative period in his life where he had to like really like use these things to become who he is. You know what I'm
Hmm.
saying? Like when he was in those moments of darkness or he didn't know where to go, he found power within himself and just build and build and build. You know what I'm saying? Like you don't we always talk about this, but I have to say this a lot because sometimes people get this misconstrued, but hard work always beats talent. Like the day you start, from the day you just constantly keep going, is going to be a different story.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? Like you just don't find somebody who's like, oh, it's just perfect at that thing. Ask them how long they've been doing it.
Yeah, you never see those shots going up in the gym. You only see it when he raising that trophy type shit.
Right. So it's like, and I know like Tyler Perry, the type of guy you leave in the gym, you know what I'm saying? He's not gonna be like certain people who's gonna have 10,000 rebounds, 10,000
Mm-hmm.
like he's
Mm-hmm.
gonna have more than that.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
So
He not gonna leave the gym. You're gonna have to make him leave the gym
yeah.
type shit.
Yeah, I see it like where you have the Virgo stellium, all of those planets in Virgo. You got Venus in Cancer, and then you got the Sun conjunct South Node. That's just a feminine person. So his subconscious is feminine. But then you got the
Mm.
Sun in Leo, which is the performer. And if it was Tyler Perry, the actor, we wouldn't be having this conversation,
Mhm.
right? The only reason we have a conversation about Tyler Perry is because how well he played a feminine character. And this character have been in thousands of plays,
Mm-hmm.
damn near
Yeah.
hundreds of movies, have been
Yeah.
cultivated and
Ran the whole
curated.
chitlin circuit, right?
It's a real entity and energy that when you say Medea, but then you get into the science of media, the entity, which is connected to Virgo, right?
Mm-hmm.
Look at his chart. I would say that he just a reincarnation of that specific goddess in a masculine vessel.
Hmm.
And I think his
Mm.
personal dealings is all smokescreen, so he don't make motherfuckers think he an alien.
So with
But
him, so with him, would you say, big bro, it's the opposite where the mask is is not necessarily what he wears outside. The mask is his work, and then he gets to be himself through his work, so to speak.
yeah, he gets to express his soul, and this is what everybody should aspire to do: express your soul's vibration and frequency to the highest octave over and over again. Because that's all he doing. He understood the feminine nature of his chart from a sidereal perspective intuitively.
Mm-hmm.
That's a stellium in Virgo.
And
So he
plus, when
he
you think
really
about
honed that shit in.
the left card, we gotta remember it's a woman on top of that line.
Hmm.
It's the Babylonian whore.
Mm-hmm.
So we gotta remember like what that plays in effect. Like we get caught up in the lion because of the sigil of Leo, but we always skip past the woman riding the lion.
Yeah,
I
like
mean,
like
Ronnie,
she's not a mascot.
Yeah,
yeah,
the
and
lion's the
it's
mascot.
She's actually the tamer.
Yeah,
right, 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 exactly. she's mounted on the lion, or a 10-headed beast, more so, with a
Mhm.
lion's body. Um, and I think that that speaks to all the different facets, all the different angles, and like what Hood said, all the different ways he's able to express his soul could be represented by those 10 different heads on that lion's body and taming it.
So let me. All right, I'm
And I mean,
it's
honestly,
percolating now.
honestly, it's kind of like it's a lot of reasons to loathe, you know what I mean, Tyler Perry. But when you look at someone's chart, it's the beauty of astrology. You can learn so much just from studying someone's chart. And it can make you just be like, ah, that's why this person is here. You get what I'm saying?
Hmm. Hmm.
And with that being said, you can do that with yourself.
100%. It's mandatory.
Yes.
It sounds like what y'all describing to me is an individual who fully figured out how to tap into his divine feminine and he ran with it.
Hmm.
Like
He
Mhm.
locked
he
in.
didn't look
He
back
locked
one
in,
second
and he didn't allow shame, guilt, and
to get in the
fear.
way of it.
He wasn't trauma informed. So when you look at Saturn and Aries in the seventh house, trauma informs most of
Hmm.
us,
Hmm.
right?
Hmm.
My dad beat my ass, so now I'm beating my kid's ass, and now I'm in
Hmm.
jail because I beat my wife's ass. What happened? My dad beat my ass. You were
Hmm.
trauma informed. So when we talk about particular aspects of alchemy, Neptune and Scorpio in his second house, the Neptune is a big black woman. I seen her
Yes.
in real
Yes.
life.
Yes, she
She'll
is.
come. The question is, are you going to alchemize what your dad did to you, or are you going to be informed by it? Are you going to make decisions because he did that? And it
Hmm.
seems to me he decided, man, fuck that shit. Where the bag at?
Hmm.
Because is it? Correct me if I'm wrong. He was homeless
Yeah, for a while.
before he got his big break.
Yeah.
He used to
Yep.
sleep in the studio. He slept in the church for a long time. And when he started building up his empire, he was sleeping
Mm.
in the church.
So see, that's dope how you said that because 12th house is related to churches and monasteries and places of that order. So him sleeping in a church and it shows where his energy is going to reside.
Also, 12th house deals with it's the Christ vibration of self-sacrifice.
Sophia Christos.
Yeah, and so it's almost like he sacrificed that egoic idea of, whoa, I'm a black man in America, and
Masculinity.
I got all this trauma. He sacrificed all that, to embody what is being expressed through his birth chart. Furthermore, his just energy.
Yeah, he didn't buy into the idea of the strong black man and the independence and lead with your masculinity and discipline. He's disciplined before a different purpose.
Hmm.
So it makes me think about how us as black men we stereotype for the most part, but white people can be Harry Potter. So Tyler Perry reminds me of a black version of Harry Potter, but we can't see it like that because we're institutionalized that black men must be protector, provider, so forth and so on,
Right.
macaroni and cheese type of guys. But the reason I say that is that the sun conjunct the south node is square Mars in the third house. Now, that first deacon of Sagittarius is by far the most powerful card in the deck. That is the Eight of Wands. That is the I speak it and it comes to life. So, if he understood this at a young age, everything he spoke came into existence. He would have had to like really sacrifice his ego,
Hmm.
right? Which
Hmm.
which which he obviously did because the nigga don't give a fuck about throwing on a dress. If
Yeah.
that ain't sacrificing your ego, I
Yep.
don't
Yeah.
know. I'm
I
Yeah.
not
mean,
wearing a dress to make y'all niggas
Hey,
laugh.
message,
Yeah.
message.
Yeah. Yeah.
Hey,
Yeah.
oh my goodness, that remind me of a verse out of the Bible. Let me try to find it real quick while y'all rap. But it was about
That make
David.
me think about what you just said, Hood. how we have these weird things set up in our so-called quote unquote melanated community, and other communities don't have that. Because like the first thing I thought about when you was talking was I ain't never heard a white person make fun of Robin Williams for being Mrs. Doubtfire. Like I've never heard
You know
somebody.
you ruined the white race for wearing a dress, Robin.
Yeah, I ain't never
All white
heard nobody
men
get on
look
the ball
bad,
and play
Robin.
Peter Pan. Like I ain't never heard nobody get
Global
on them.
conspiracy, Robin.
Yeah, I ain't never heard nobody get on them, bro. Like that's weird, bro. I think it points more towards the collective homophobia within our community as
It's
opposed to anything else.
COINTELPRO, Robin. You should have did that down the white boy, Robin. Why'd you put on that dress? They trying to demasculine us. Trying to turn our white boys into white girls, Robin. Don't do it, Robin. Niggas went to Miss Doubtfire and laughed and went home and wanted a Saint Bernard, and then seen it cost 10 bands for one and said, nah, never mind.
Never mind.
Maybe. And then like
I just watched the movie over again.
Yeah, and just imagine that shit because it ain't happening. Them bitches is expensive.
But these is the facts, though. Like no other community puts their folk down for doing different shit, unconventional shit than our community. These is the facts.
And a person that fucking gets a fucking old Civil War fort and turns it into a studio and employs thousands of black people.
Damn, I didn't know it was a Civil War.
Yeah,
we talking about
a Confederate fort.
Bro, we talking about necrogeomancy.
Yep,
we talking
that's
about
exactly what we talking about.
Geomancy, alchemy.
It's blood in that
under there. And alchemy. Yep, put the alchemy on top.
But once again, though, we looking at the human and not the chart. And I employ any and everybody to get a chart reading by somebody that knows sidereal astrology, because it will show his chart being something completely different in tropical astrology, and it'll be out of alignment. Like,
yeah, it's the degrees is like 6 to 7 degrees each sign. Like it's off by like 6 to 7 degrees from tropical to sidereal.
No, it's off like 28.
28, 26.
That shit way off.
Oh, that's like a quarter. You right.
Yeah.
I'm looking at the other line. Yeah, you right. That's deep.
And it's like when you also look at the pictures of the constellations in the sky, like they're, technically they're really not all the same size and shape too. When you really, like Virgo, that's Big Mama.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying?
It is the largest constellation. So it is the most powerful constellation. Like it is embodying the divine feminine. So a masculine vessel for the divine feminine is powerful. But we can't see it that way because he wearing a dress.
Yeah.
That's called a stereotype. That's also a ritual.
And a psyop. Like this shit is crazy.
So when you were saying like sacrificing your ego, it reminded me of David in the Bible. It's a couple verses in 2 Samuel chapter 6 from like verse 12 to like verse 20. And basically, at this point, David is the king and they're bringing the Ark of the Covenant into Jerusalem. And as they're bringing it into Jerusalem, it's just a parade, everybody happy. And it says that David, hold on. Okay, so it says wearing a linen. Verse? It starts it's 2 Samuel chapter 6, and it starts around like verse 12 or verse 14.
Okay.
And verse 14 says like wearing a linen ephod David was dancing before the Lord with all his might, while he and all Israel were bringing up the ark of the Lord with shouts and the sound of trumpets. As the ark of the Lord was entering the city of David, Micah, daughter of Saul, watched from a window. And when she saw King David leaping and dancing before the Lord, she despised him in her heart. And so go all the way up to verse 20. When David returned home to bless his household, Micah, daughter of Saul, came out to meet him and said, "How the king of Israel has distinguished himself today, going around half naked in full view of slave girls and of his servants as a vulgar fellow would." It's kind of like, this motherfucker put on a dress, talking all crazy. You know what I mean? He really, you know, all the stuff we said about him or heard said. And then verse 21, David responds to Micah, it was before the Lord who chose me rather than your father or anyone from his house when he appointed me ruler over the Lord's people, Israel. I will celebrate before the Lord. I will become even more undignified than this, and I will be humiliated in my own eyes. But by these slave girls you spoke of, I will be hailed in honor. So, and it
I
just
get it.
made me think of that because it's like, I don't give a fuck what you think. You know what I mean? I'm in my purpose. You can say
Facts.
whatever you want to say to me. I'm gonna be the
Facts.
most vilest, repulsive thing if that's what you see me as, because I'm gonna be this, to the fullest. Um, and I just thought that was powerful. And then, metaphysically, David represents the heart,
Mhm.
represents acceptance. Once you get into that heart chakra energy, you really dealing with accepting who you here to be, you know, accepting, and in that acceptance, you willing to find avenues to express what's in you.
It got me to thinking that like Tyler Perry, he was like one day sitting in a mirror and he was torn because people was laughing at him for being Medea. And then like he read this Bible verse and he was like, you know what? I'm gonna get more lipstick, I'm gonna get more makeup, I'm gonna wear more dresses, I'm gonna be so much Medea, these motherfuckers gonna get mad. You know what I'm saying? Like
I'm
he
gonna get the biggest dress. I'm gonna have the
said,
biggest titties.
you
Like,
know what? I'm going to not give a fuck so much and be in my purpose so deep that motherfuckers is going to hate me for existing in this bitch.
Hmm.
no pun intended. Will we all agree to say that he did his big one?
Yeah.
I mean, I it just wouldn't be my personal way because I'm dignified. You know what I'm saying? I got dignity. You know what I'm saying? And that's not a compliment to me. That's some shit that those niggas on OnlyFans and they don't got no dignity. They running up stupid bags. You know what I'm saying? Like it's just a dignity is such an interesting word. I feel like I need to do an etymology on that shit, bro. Like, what is dignity? Because he said I will become even more undignified than this, nigga.
Yeah,
Like,
dignity would be described to me as an intangible. Like it's one of those intangible traits that you really have to get through to the depths of a person in order to determine if they have it or not.
mhm. State of being worthy, dignity, privilege, honor, worthiness, worth, worthy, proper, fitting, to take, accept. So, is that subjective? Like, who's going to determine what's worthy or not? You know what I'm saying? It's an
Yeah,
interesting, it's an interesting dichotomy to put yourself in, to have dignity in a world where you're getting your ass kicked. And it's like a little bit of less of that, and you will break through. I think it's some alchemy in this shit right here, bro.
I mean,
I will
we
become even
we
more
would probably,
undignified than this.
yeah, we would
But
probably be able to say like within my area, right? We would probably be able to say like a lot of people that end up homeless are dignified.
yeah, they didn't even beg. They didn't even beg for help.
Hmm.
They didn't even scream and beg for help. They just sat on the corner humble, like, you know what? One of these motherfuckers is going to see me on this park
Yeah,
bench. You're going to
I'm
be
just
like,
get it how I live. I'm just get it how I live type shit.
I will be humiliated in my own eyes. That's a bar, bro.
Hmm.
That's
Man,
a
hey,
bar. That's
it's
a
it's
bar.
so many it's so many bars that David has spit in the Bible. Um, yeah, man, it's it get crazier in Samuel. I would encourage everybody to study David, because David might have been one of the um just his story from beginning to end from a child. You know what I mean? He killed Goliath as a baby. You know what I mean? He was a kid, man, but David really represents what it's like to have the Holy Spirit and to know you have the Holy Spirit and just not to falter, you know what I mean? Not to fear man, not to put his trust in man. Um, but yeah,
I'm just looking at that last line. But by these slave girls you spoke of, I will be held in honor. And who holds him up the highest in regard in everything that he does? Black women, right?
hmm
Like black women hold him down.
Oprah.
Can I play that clip of Joe Button real quick? Like a minute of
Yeah,
it?
yeah, yeah.
Hey, make sure y'all like this video, share this video, subscribe to the channel. We got 29 people in the chat across all platforms. So share this to more video, like this video, because why the fuck not? You feel me? What's up with the tribe? How y'all feeling? Panel, how y'all feeling this evening? Y'all all good?
Peace, everybody.
Peace, peace.
Peace to the tribe. Peace to the tribe.
I'm paid out the wazoo. I want to thank all my supporters, the men, yada, yada, yada. But more so, the women who make all of my stuff go number one. They just did it now with my Netflix movie where I did it again to you bitches. I got over on y'all again. In the first 15 minutes, I show you this downtrodden.
Downtrodden.
Yes, and that. Right there, trodden. So I was going to give him a pass.
And I do have a review on that, but go on.
Because I didn't watch it. So
I didn't watch it
either. So I was going to give him a
too.
pass, but then he said, and y'all are going to do it again with my new film, Divorce Sisters. Listen.
I did find that.
Listen. Listen to him.
That's what he said.
Look,
And I appreciate you like you would not believe.
let him cook.
You keep sending everything to number one, including Straw this weekend. So thank you so much.
Thank y'all.
And
And
pretty soon you'll be sending Divorce Sisters to number one. So thank you for that. I really appreciate it.
think back there, how far
So basically, what they saying is this dude is just really just the king of feminine marketing. You know what I'm saying? Like, and no shade. I say it in a way where I don't even want to sound like a hater at all. Like he tapped in.
Yeah, I mean it's kind of hard to speak against it and not sound like someone who's jealous, right? Or someone who's crying over sour grapes, right? Like you're talking about a person who 99.9999999% of people in the world would probably be more than willing to switch places with. So,
Yeah, and that's them is facts, isn't it?
mm-hmm. So it's hard not to give credit where credit is due. But I'll go back to what you were just saying before with the dignity aspect of it, right? Because if I am a particular masculine man, it's going to be a little bit difficult for me to say that that is the way that I am going to serve my purpose in this world. You know what I'm saying? But again, to each his own. Me not knocking you is not the same thing as me not agreeing with you. So, I mean, I don't have any issue with it, but I think a lot of masculine men have an issue with it because the women love it. We can talk to that too. It usually goes like that in this world, right? With the things that the men hate, the women love.
When
No,
we
I'm
can
back.
start tapping into our archetypical mind, like our subconscious mind, like when we get to studying symbols and just Greek and mythos, because it's like this the only way you're gonna see through the BS, through this propaganda, to this other side of the world. It's looking through your spiritual eye, but being able to observe like the dark shit, because that's what Bobby Hemmett said earlier in the clip we had dropped. Is being able to see the darkness and revere it as life, because they're one and the same thing, but you have to see it with your spiritual eye to observe.
I agree. I agree. It's just interesting though. Like I probably didn't even think this way until I looked at the chart. I ain't even gonna lie. I always feel like that when I'm looking at a
I
chart. I
agree.
always feel like, damn, I see it all completely different now. And I think like just being an astrologer for all these years, it really is just that shift in consciousness that's like is there, but it's like how you ever going to see understand how an engine work if you just keep watching the car drive by you. You know what I'm saying? You just like you don't know. You gotta like get underneath the hood and be like, oh, that's why it is the way it is. And I think like the charts really point that out.
Well, with charts, we gotta remember symbols help speak to the soul. So our chart is that programming and the key for that. So moon day, when I'm interacting with this moon, I'm understanding my emotional and my inner world. Like that is the key. When I'm getting, you know what I'm saying, any type of astrology information, I'm taking it one house, one planet at a time, and just keep it simple.
Ashe. I think that's key though, because the internet gonna have you fucked up. So you best deal with each aspect of each concept, each foundational aspect, and then build upon your foundational knowledge. And that's the deepest astrology gonna get. You know what I'm saying? Because you just understand the basics. So
Yep. Get you a tarot deck, specifically the Thoth tarot deck or even a Hermetic deck. They got like actual planets on the minor arcana, so you can know like, okay, the first or third deacon of Sagittarius, I think, is ruled by Mars. You know, get you a deck that is packed with meaning and symbology to start off. Don't get no blue deck that got different cats on it and shit. You know what I mean? Those are nice if that's what you into, but get you a deck to learn first. You know, those are for very advanced people that already have the meanings committed to psyche. Um, and you know, go get Moon Day, a practical approach to astrology. It'll take you step by step. There's a video, 33-minute video that walks you through it. And then hey, you got the initiates to help you. So if you're curious about
Join the
astrology, you have
Discord.
no
Join the
reason not to
Discord.
know.
Join the
Oh,
Discord.
yeah. Discord. Discord. Cash App.
Right here, cause I got it pulled up.
You got to pull it up. All right.
Yeah.
Hold on. I'm gonna put you on there.
I'm gonna move it out the way.
So with all that positive shit we was talking about, just so happened he got sued for $260 million over sexual harassment and assault allegations. Do this smell like Diddy oil or is it just me?
Nah, I think that nigga use Vaseline. Fuck Diddy oil. You muted, servant.
Yeah, well, I mean, I was curious because I wanted to know like how expensive is sexual harassment? Like, because I think I need a different job. Like 260 is steep, my guy.
What he's suing them for? Like,
Listen, you're talking about a relationship that was garnered over a 10-year period, and then an individual who seems extremely vindictive now coming back and saying that he was sexually harassed in those 10 years. So the crazy part is you kept going back, and this is more than 10 years. It seems like that was just your boyfriend, but you know, I don't know. I don't know how this works. You know what I'm saying?
yeah, that was my first like impression. It was like some lover scorn. I'm gonna get you back type of shit. It didn't feel like it, but this is the playbook. I don't think it have nothing to do with anything in reference to what actually happened. I think once you a black man and you reach a certain level, you then get pegged down a few notches. If not,
Pause. Pause.
pause.
No pun intended.
Pun intended either. The pun, no, actually, the pun was intended because listen, that's what's actually happening.
Yeah.
That's what's actually, pederasty. These people, they play like that. That's how they play.
Since the beginning of time, we have never seen any individual go completely unscathed from beginning to end. Right? Like everybody has a blemish somewhere. Everybody has an asterisk. Everybody has something. And it just seems like it was just his turn.
See, but goes back to the chart, the sun square bars. You got a nigga that can get anything that he want, but his chart have a square in reference to that aspect. A square is an irreconcilable situation where
You can't come back from.
You got a missing arm or something like that. Like where you want something that you can't get and it's going to cost you dearly.
What is that thing though, big bro? What is that thing? Is it spiritual validation?
It's not spiritual validation. It's validation within itself.
Mhm.
Man, listen, nigga, you can actually just be in this world and nobody know you exist.
Facts. Motherfuckers only find out about you on your deathbed, if that.
They never do. It's people that have died, lived, you'll never know about.
Mm-hmm.
Important people, unimportant people, rich people, poor people, fat people, skinny people. Crazy shit happen, not crazy shit. Like, it don't matter. We all here in this bitch. So when you Tyler, I'm sorry, when you Tyler Perry and you have all this success and you want this particular level of validation that you're not going to get, you're going to put yourself in weird predicaments in reference to sexual deviancy.
So would you say there's a particular level that he is operating on, and that operation has everything to do with doing whatever he can to get that validation at any cost?
We're talking about the lack of sexual alchemy.
He didn't turn that lead into gold.
It's the first book in the fucking Bible, Adam and Eve. God kicked them out the Garden of Eden. This nigga gonna send sexy text messages to a motherfucker that look like Brad Pitt and Matthew McConaughey mixed together. Let's be real about what's actually happening. You want that milk?
I am weak right now.
The nigga said, man, he handsome. I want him. Now, most of us will see a handsome white boy and be like, all right, that white boy handsome, and go about our fucking day.
Word.
We don't send text messages that's going to come back to bite us, and now we're going to get screwed at 260 million. We don't leave a paper trail, is what I'm trying to say.
I'm going to leave a paper trail, and I'm worth all of this.
Because you don't have sexual alchemy. I don't want nobody that bad where I'm texting them and saying I want to have sex with you, so I don't feel those emotions.
That is a fact. So he was in that moment, in that second, with that deviancy on his fucking consciousness. He was willing to risk it all just to get that Pitt little brother.
Indeed. It is happening. And with Diddy, settle out of court, nigga. You paying, you dropping them M's.
Can't make this shit up, bro.
Because the lawyer not even going to file the shit if it ain't going to stick. The lawyer going to say, it's bullshit. I can't do nothing with this.
I almost forgot.
No, I'm on retainer. The nigga say, pay me once the shit is over with. That's how the lawyers even operating and bringing this shit to the surface.
Yeah, because if this was a frivolous lawsuit, the claim wouldn't even be worth the paper it was filed on. But because they know it's not frivolous, that's why it was filed.
Exactly. But Puff Daddy, no sexual alchemy. Bill Cosby, no sexual alchemy. R. Kelly, no sexual alchemy. Jay-Z, no sexual alchemy. The list goes on and on and on. Niggas who succeed in this world, guess what? They practice sexual alchemy, whether it's them and their wife or they single.
And I mean, this should also be a weird lesson for the people who like to think about shit like deserving, right? Because you're talking about ridiculously successful people. And the one thing they couldn't get right was the one most important thing they must have gotten right just by being men. But they couldn't do that. They couldn't control that seed. That seed was in control of them. Hot damn it.
Can't be out here with tenor dick, man.
For the white meat is crazy though. The white boy meat is crazy. Like, you wanted it so bad. It's crazy. I just
Yeah, man.
I mean,
like
is
that's
that KFC or Chick-fil-A?
I don't nah that's Cracker Barrel.
That's Roy Rogers.
Oh shit. Yeah, but I don't get it with like the celebrities. It's like I'm sure it's somebody in that category to be like, oh, Tyler Perry, of course,
I'm
willingly.
there.
Yeah.
How
He's
many
gonna be
NDAs
seen
do
with
I
you.
gotta sign? I will sign
Yeah.
57 of them.
Yeah.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah, and since you're saying that, I would love to know how many NDAs has he given out throughout the years. If this is coming out now and this is 10, 12, 13 years in the making, how many NDAs would y'all surmise that he had his people sign throughout the years?
Man, oh man.
I mean, not enough because the word is out. Whether you have Boondocks or whether you have Atlanta, where they parody Tyler Perry, he have been known as this particular monster in Hollywood that was known for all type of deviant shit. That was just the word. So, a person that person that's that calculated definitely has a level of psychosis related to him because what black men tend to imagine is if they can get so financial well off, all of their problems go away and they no longer have to deal with their psychology. But it's not as hard as you make it seem because you can still be this person that you are, but you're not even understanding the spiritual component of it basically. So I was like, man, you got to do this work to even show up the right way a lot of times because money not going to solve it for you. You got to see what that anima is hitting on. You know what I'm saying? Because you obviously got some shit going with you on that feminine side. You know what I'm saying? Like, but yeah, man.
You got to. I mean, it's just when you listen to Tyler Perry actually speak, he almost sounds like Medea damn near. It's a lot of dudes who very masculine and they kind of have that feminine voice to you, but they'll beat your ass.
Yeah, I seen that shit in jail. My nigga Mike P. You would think he gay. That nigga ain't gay. He just talk a certain way and act a certain way, but will beat up anybody. Like you know what I'm saying? So it's just like you
Listen, listen,
can't
listen.
never.
The PJs growing up, the niggas that was picked on, that was called the FAG and all that shit with, all the homophobia that exists in the hood, those niggas was the niggas everybody universally did not want to fight one-on-one. I promise you. Those are the niggas that niggas was like, yeah, but I will not be caught in the phone booth with these niggas. You know what I'm saying? Like, they got ridiculous strength. They got unmatched strength because you don't know the trauma that these niggas been through. You know what I'm saying? And the idea of a nigga taking a you know what up the wrong way, like, nah, bro. Like, that's different strength. Okay?
That's like
I
since
don't even
we
know
having
how
this
you
conversation.
quantify that. You know what I'm saying?
Nah, but since we having this conversation and we just having just an open dialogue, it make me just think about it in a sense of expressing yourself in that way where if say for instance I'm gay, right? And I'm letting motherfuckers know that I'm gay. I know motherfuckers gonna be like, damn, the hood Mr. Gay, y'all heard the motherfucking, you know what I'm saying? It's a lot of like scrutiny that goes into that.
Mm-hmm.
Meaning, if I'm gay, I'd rather not even tell people that I'm gay because I don't want to be scrutinized.
Yes. Yes.
But even if I have that in my conscience and I'm gay anyway, nigga, that's strength.
That's strength, nigga. That's intestinal fortitude right there. That's alchemy. But yeah, and shout out to Straight Panther for bringing up the dandy concept. Cause yeah, we talking about dandies, bro.
Mm. And
That
I've heard
dandy,
that concept
dandy
before. It just
yeah,
makes
that
sense.
dandy archetype, bro. Type in dandy.
Nah, they just did that at the Met Gala.
Yeah,
That
that's
was
exactly what the Met Gala was wrapped around. The dandy, the black dandy.
the Black Dandyism. The 2025 Met Gala celebrated Black Dandyism, a style movement rooted in 18th and 19th centuries that have been reclaimed by Black individuals as a form of resistance and self expression, right?
Mhm.
So, yeah, like
That
think
makes
about it though.
that makes me think of the polo dude, the black dude from New York. That also makes me think of the dude that they said Kanye was involved with on the low, Virgil Abloh. Um,
Mhm.
that makes me think of Basquiat. Um, who was the ball, the light skinned ball, pretty boy that used to always run around with Puff, Farnsworth Bentley.
Mhm.
That's dandyism.
Mhm.
The top hats, the three-piece suits that fit close to the body.
So my thing is this, right? It's one of two things, right? It's a Black expression, or the root of it is in when rich butlers, or I
Mhm.
mean, I'm sorry, where rich people had slaves and they ain't want their slaves to look bummy, so they dripped out their slaves. So when I look at the Met Gala, I see a bunch of dripped out slaves,
Mm, mm,
right? Because
mm,
they all
mhm.
got contracts, right?
Yep.
Where the person that they signed the contract to get the lion's share of the money and don't even give them a penny on the dollar.
Yeah, they give
And
them what they
then
wanted.
they give them a loan first of all. Then the artists got to pay back the loan if they can pay back the loan just to get another loan, right?
True.
So that's slavery in a sense. And the Met Gala, to me, it just seems as though like like what Kanye said, you know what I'm saying? I know that we the new slaves. And that just goes back to what feel about Tyler Perry. You can make as much money as you can make, but if you don't do the psychological work, you still a slave to a system that, whether or not you did sexual harassment, they about to bring you down. And
Yeah.
I'm just going off of what they done did already with Diddy.
Yeah.
At first it was a lawsuit, then it was footage, then it
Mm-hmm.
was the court. Now this nigga could go to jail for life very shortly.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And 2 years ago, we were like, damn, that Diddy lawsuit. Look at how far it progressed over these 2 years.
Yeah. They definitely lined that. They lined that nigga up, bro.
That's
They.
basically that's basically what happened with the Young Thug case, and now look at Lil Durk.
Yeah.
Look at most of the rappers is going through this Rico shit and stuff.
Yeah. And they said the
Same
same thing about. They said the same thing about Dirk that they said about Puff. The Fed said they don't care if they lose the case. They just gonna stretch it out until y'all spend every dollar on this motherfucker, so that even if y'all do come home, you broke. They're gonna make you spend all your bread trying to defend yourself. And they got the money to do it. They got the resources to do it. Like, you're not gonna beat the feds with just paying for your lawyers. Like, that's not how that's not how that go. They could just stroll out endless lawyers, bro. You're gonna have to keep paying those $5,000 an hour fees for your lawyers, and yeah, you weigh that back and forth. Government, yeah, they pockets is much longer, bro. No matter how much you got.
But a nigga feel like he can only do the money shit though. He don't even understand the nature of unlocking his chart. Like, you know what I'm saying, getting into no self.
But yeah, this goes back to what you said, not doing any sexual alchemy, because what is Tyler Perry without his empire? A weird dude. Like,
Just guy. Yeah. Y'all want to get into some tarot pulls?
let's get it.
Anybody in the chat
What's the
want to
link on
check
my card?
tarot reading from the initiates? Go ahead, put your birthday in a question in the chat. I got my cards on deck. I don't know who else do, but you know what I'm saying? Get the people what they want. You feel me? Have an intuitive, integrative conversation. Any questions, comments, or concerns? I know you want to know about your baby daddy. Will y'all work out? Now is your time to get the answers, sis.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. For real, sis. If you asking that question, he don't like you. But I digress. Let's get to it.
Yeah, I wish my girl would get a reading on me. I'm done. Like, what the hell? Is Kyrie the one, bitch? What you mean? How the fuck she know? I ain't about to what? It's already over. Man, what's something that's going on in the world, real quick? You want to? All the girls that got a reading on the nigga thinking like, what hood mean when he said that? Like, for real talking about? What you mean by that hood?
I'm still waiting. The reading worked out.
I mean, I asked you a question like.
How many readings you ever gave out in which the person that got the reading regretted asking you for the truth? Just type shit. It's like, you know what? I wish I never paid you. You know what I'm saying? Like, because I knew that answer, and you told me that answer anyway. Like,
so I remember we was on TikTok live and they was asking us if they was pregnant or not.
Yeah, the one John sent through the chat. She's like, "You think I'm pregnant? Please tell me if I'm pregnant."
Listen, it's called Dollar General. It's called pregnancy test. It's called $5. It's called Dollar Tree. They got them for $1.25.
Facts. $20 to get you about 10 of them things.
Yeah, like don't be asking me questions that the cards can't answer, babe. That's why. Don't ask me about your nigga, okay? Because what if he wasn't your nigga?
That nigga cheated.
If you tapped into the Medea aspect, to the Medea aspect of your family, the matriarch, yeah, you walk in front of her, she gonna tell you pregnant. She will let you know.
Yeah. Grandma, you been dreaming about fish? Yeah, baby.
Grandma knows as soon as she see you, she like, oh my God. What you do? Motherfucker be like 4 weeks. Like, how did you know? Grandma didn't even tell nobody. Like, girl, you glowing.
Yeah. Well, more of the story, don't get a reading to figure out if you're pregnant or not. That doesn't make sense.
That shit crazy.
That's
don't.
That's dumb. That's dumb, Mom. That's dumb. I'm gonna be called that.
That's one of those I don't want to own the truth type shit. That's an accountability check right there.
Yeah, that's
go to the fucking store. Like,
wait it out. So what's been going on in the world, man?
We got one. It's at 11/10/1996. It's now a good time to enroll in school for physical therapy.
Physical therapy. That's a good question.
Good question. My boy came through with a banger.
He said he was listening to us.
I ain't about to come with no weird shit. And please don't type general. I'm gonna be general with what I'm gonna say. It'll just be like air, fire. All right, bro. I'm gonna go first. I got 3 wands. I got the Queen of Wands. I got the Ace of Wands. And I got the 6 of Wands. So the card is basically saying if that's your passion, this is a good time to start, and this is going to represent your path to victory. Something that's like weighing on your soul from the ancestors. Maybe physical therapy is your gift that you came to bring to the world. You feel me? Let me know if that resonate with you, King Dre. That's all I got for you.
Oh yeah. And 10, 11, 10. I mean, you might even be the fucus.
Fucus.
That's an alignment.
Speaking of wands, I got the 10 of Wands, and you might be dealing with a situation that might feel like you can't attain this, but that's just the things that's giving you challenges and giving you the testimonies for you to rise to the occasion, to get over it, to learn from what you're going through. So it might be a situation that you could be learning from. That's like it's not that bad, but I can get around this.
And I'm gonna flip this one then. Shoot, I got the Princess of Swords. And I think this speaks to you don't know what you don't know yet as far as physical therapy. It's kind of like you're an empty canvas right now. So like really explore the subject, really give yourself time to actually understand and study and develop the skill set of what it means to be a physical therapist, not just the information, but really see yourself as doing it, really, go on YouTube, what it's like a day in the life of a physical therapist, things like that.
The man telling you to lock in, my boy.
Yeah.
Hey, I like it, man. We got more questions though. We moving on. King Dre, let us know if that resonated with you, man. The State Buddha says, man, we're all real here. No question. I trust whatever comes. He said pause, not peace. Y'all see that, right? It's like pause.
Yeah. I know he be listening to the initiates, man.
It's all love. And hey, a focus. So I got art with the 8 of Swords, with the 10 of Cups. So this is basically saying, man, you in a space where you protector, provider, maybe got a good ass job, making the money that you want to make, but that ain't what you actually satisfied in doing. You got to get into more of your alchemy bag, what we talked about earlier. You got to understand that sexual alchemy piece, and therefore you got to step out of like the family zone, because the family zone is not indicating that it's a safe zone, right? And because you can't be authentic, you need to create different expressions where these different parts of yourself can start to come to life. Because it's not that your shit is woe is me. You got a lot of ammo to do the alchemy to transmute all that shit, turn the lead to the gold, and not just be like on some leave it to beaver. I'm just, I gotta, everything is that shit's over with. Time to get back into them trenches and do that work. Let me know if that resonated with you. The State Buddha, passing the mic.
So I'm gonna go ahead and jump in on this. So since y'all dropping the days and months, I had threw them in the astrology calculator. So I looked at your chart real quick, and you have a your one reason why the transformation speaks so hard to you is because you're a Scorpio sun with a Mars and Pluto conjunctions along with your sun. So it's like if you're not really tapping into this, you're gonna be, distraught. You kind of just like that's where the money comes from because of the eighth house. Because the eighth house energy is always like I always got it, just with the insurance, savings, and all that good stuff. But at the same time, it's gonna be that sexual alchemy and the deep and the tension in us that we got to deal with. And if we don't, recognize it, along with that Mars energy, so that's where that tension is coming from that you got to deal with, that you can tap into. And your Mars is technically feeling as at home, even though it's dealing with some water energy, it can still fully express itself being a Scorpio, because that's what Mars rules. So like you really got to be able to like tap into your passion and then transform that passion and give it guidance.
Shay.
The card that I pulled is another sword, Ace of Swords. So I would say in the respect of what AD and Hood mentioned, you got in mind what's the progression for you in life, like what's next for you. I would say trust your intuition, as far as making that next step. Don't overthink it, because the Ace of Swords really isn't too much of a heavy mental energy as it is. It's just the mind as is. It's kind of like the mind if left alone. You get what I'm saying? But if left alone in a place of like curiosity, in a place of putting yourself in a place to be successful, if that makes sense. But it's don't overthink it. I would say just to keep it short and sweet. Don't overthink what's next for you, because you really not in a place where you can really fuck up your situation right now.
I got the card of judgment. Essentially, you're in a space where you're reviewing past choices through a more expanded lens. You feel pressure to act on a soul mission, stepping out of and into a more stronger leadership role or a spiritual guide type role. And you're being freed from generational change. However, you do feel pressure to act on your soul's mission currently. So, yeah. Card demands reflection. The action is the final call to transcend the past. Shed old skin and answer your higher mission.
Shout out Straight Panther, man. Before we get into this, man, support those who support your overall spiritual growth and development. Please like, share, and subscribe to the mother video. What are, if any, messages from spirit guides, and who are my spirit guides, if info is possible? That's Straight Panther, by the way.
124.25.
That nigga Straight Panther had a rebirth.
Yeah. I'm like, I'm trying to live this over real quick.
He had a rebirth. He was 6 months. He said he been saying that on YouTube for over 8 years. Ashe, man, it's real. Cause spiritual development is still what's popping out here. Fuck all the dumb shit, man. You better do some goddamn rituals. So I got interesting enough. I got the Six of Swords, the Princess of Swords, and the Queen of Swords in references to messages that your spirit guides may have is to not be so scatterbrained when it comes to your spiritual development. Really fixate and focus. I think one of the things that it might be pushing you into is more Masonic. Even if you are a brother, you might want to get deeper into the degrees, or if you've never been into anything Masonic, you might want to join a lodge. More or less, it is a specific benefit that spiritual seekers get of joining particular secret societies, especially if you still have that fire that haven't particularly been quenched and got you going all over the place and you don't know where to go. You might want to, and this is not for everybody, but we're doing a specific reading for a specific person. When it comes to who are your spirit guides, that question could be in reference to like, I feel like it would be more of a archetype of because it's like a specific person, but it was somebody that you would resonate, and it would be like a Caucasian woman that's like more of like a television star, right? But these people do act as real live mediums and connect to people and help people when it comes to like spirit guides. A lot of spirit guides are celebrities, believe it or not. That's how they show up and resonate in reference to the space time continuum by being celebrities and having a voice. So it'll be somebody like Marilyn Monroe or Jackie Onassis, somebody of that vein. But that's what I got.
So, what I had pulled for you was the Two of Cups, love. And what this card is telling me is that for you to find those spirit guides is to really tap into your deep meditation and find out within, and you'll get the answers you need. And that's building that deep love for that practice. You know, when you first wake up in the morning, giving thanks, being righteousness. That's how you're gonna find that, creating those times and moments that no one can interrupt, because it's like what you're searching for and what you're looking for is that universal love that's within you that you'll always be able to tap into. So you'll never be away from it. It's gonna be time and moments that distractions come that's gonna keep you away from that love.
And double down on what AD just said. The card that I pulled was adjustment. You can see it. Which is the card is it represents Libra. So whereas you have love, there's a certain responsibility that comes with it. And I would say spirit guides, one of your spirit guides may be, Mayat, Halthar. Start dealing with them. Just, do some research on them. Do some research on, mother goddesses. But yeah, with this card adjustment, it's all about taking a moment to really figure out what is required of you for like the reference of, masonry. You know, you have to make the right measurements in order to build the temple correctly. You know, and it has to be very precise, and it's something that you can't bullshit. You know what I mean? You have to do it for a particular way. You know, but with that being said, it's for you to find out what works for you, and once you find what works for you, don't compromise with it. You know, begin to cultivate your energy with what you found works for you. Um, yeah, it's kind of like, you know, adjust to your own energy, adjust to what spirit is telling you. Um, yeah, that's what I would say.
Ashe.
Breeze, what card did you pull?
I pulled adjustment, which is I can't think of what else it's called. It's also called justice in
Yeah,
other decks.
yeah.
Got anything, Serpent?
Got that Dolph Tarot deck popping.
Yup.
Mm-hmm.
See if I can get it close to the screen. That right chair.
Oh yeah, got that blue flu in it. Oh yeah. My bad. Sometimes I still think I'm in gang wars.
Got anything, Serpent?
Oh yeah. I got the star card, and just give you an occult psychological reading on that. The return of the authentic self in Jungian terms. Star corresponds with individuation process, the moment when the psyche begins to restore itself after being fragmented or buried under social expectations. This soul is on a path whether to restore itself or being fragmented or buried under social expectations. The soul, its true self, is beginning to shine through an archetypal fog, not from the ego, but from spiritual identity. Psychic message is the mask is no longer needed. Your spirit wants to speak without distortion. The anima animus integration, the soul is being called to balance the inner masculine and feminine anima aspect to asking to rise through the intuition, creativity, and vulnerability. The masculine animus supports through the structure of discernment. So this shows the rebalancing of the lunar and solar currents, left hand, right hand path dynamics. Are you allowing yourself to feel without judgment and act without ego?
Ashe.
Yo, what y'all think? Did y'all hear about that family in Georgia that went crazy on Facebook? What y'all think about that? I just heard about it. I want to know what the brothers thought about that.
Hold on. Well, before you say that, Straight Panther said Justice was his 5%er name. Oh, well, you already know what time it is. You already know what time it is.
Divine time and alignment. My brother, when he went up north and came home, his name was Justice.
Yeah, I would say do the etymology on justice. You know, look into Mayat, look at what Mayat represented. Because it's all about balancing the scales. I would say, yeah, get into that, get into the scales.
The number one balance with justice is that there is no forgiveness without justice. Like those are kissing cousins, right? Like now people always say, you know, forgiveness is for you, is not for the person. The only way forgiveness works is if justice has been served, right? So that's why the difficulty with people in forgiveness, because no justice has been done most of the time. You know what I'm saying? So like when a person say they forgive you, 9 times out of 10, that's just word service. It's a word salad because no justice has been has been implemented in order for that forgiveness to be necessary. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
So that's the first part with justice. Justice has to go with forgiveness.
Dig it. Heavy. So, man, before we get out of here, man, one more segment. The moon report. Basically, where the moon is at for the night in the foreseeable future, and our thoughts before we get up out of here. And more or less, pull out a calendar if y'all don't have one already queued up. I'm looking for one right now. What's today's date? The 18th.
Today is the 18th. The moon will be going into the second decan of Pisces, which is represented by the 9 of Cups. 9 of Cups, meaning on the tarot card is happiness. So, it's Thursday, you know what I mean? Friday around the corner, you know what I mean? Some of y'all got work off for Juneteenth. Me, I work in corporate America and manufacturing, so.
And some of y'all ain't got no job. You ain't got shit to do.
The type of industry I'm in, they willing to pay you triple time on Christmas and Thanksgiving. So I'll be at work for lack of better words tomorrow.
It's a holiday?
Yeah, Juneteenth.
It's a federal holiday,
Oh man, fuck man. That is so crazy, man. Post office was closed on Sunday for Father's Day. Now these niggas gonna be closed on Thursday. Come on, man.
So what stands out to me right now is this.
I got it. These packages out, man. That's crazy. That's not right. Nah.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't care. Hallelujah to all of the survivors of Juneteenth or whatever. I don't know, man. I just don't understand what we celebrating. You know what I'm saying? But it's every year. Did we celebrate this growing up? Like going to when y'all was in school? Did we celebrate Juneteenth?
I was born in 92. We didn't talk about it until I was in high school. But it was more of just an observance. You know what I mean? It was just, this marks the day. You know what I mean? When I don't even remember what it's about, man.
Yeah,
I know that,
man. That's why I can't. I know somebody said, slavery over now. I think that's what it's like.
Yeah, and I think in Texas, it's a big deal because 3 years after, quote unquote, the government said, it's over with. We're not doing that shit no more. They were still doing. They were still picking cotton. They were still, being treated like slaves. But slavery didn't end. 13th Amendment said if we can lock you up, criminalize you, we can put you back in cotton fields in 2025.
What happened? Where we at? What I missed?
We're talking about slavery. No, I don't even know. We got here interestingly though. Go ahead though. How did we get here? Juneteenth.
Yeah.
Tomorrow is Juneteenth. And they was telling people in Texas, y'all don't gotta pick cotton no more. And this was the day that they figured out that they ain't had to pick cotton no more unless they get arrested. Then you would work on a chain gang and work for Victoria's Secrets and things of that nature for 20 cents a day and things of that nature.
Work for Buzz Walker and build.
Oh yeah, unless you was a black man and then you was, 1 out of 5 chances you going to prison type shit. You know
Yeah,
what I'm saying?
yeah,
So,
yeah, yeah,
so it's like,
yeah.
yeah, slavery is over, except for the millions of black men that's in prison right now working for 20 cents a day. But anyways, slavery is over because
Yeah,
we
yeah.
celebrating Juneteenth. Yeah,
Racism doesn't exist anymore.
the good old the Union saved us. Yeah. 'Cause I grew up in Ohio where the white people are not racist. Yeah,
Shit.
yeah.
I know
Like that's
plenty.
what. Yeah.
I know plenty of white people that have black friends.
There you go. There you go. Clean it up for it, serpent.
Um,
What was you about to say,
so
Liberty?
we got the moon, Saturn, and Neptune all around each other in Pisces. And I think that's pretty interesting. To me, it says that basically like spirituality um is screaming to be dealt with, or not even screaming to be dealt with, but I think it's a really good time to, get back into meditating daily, journaling daily, the basics, really getting back to the basics, making sure that you taking your herbs, drinking your water, um, praying, things of that nature, just getting back to the basics. I think is a really good time for that. Uh, yeah, with Saturn and Neptune in Pisces.
What does emotional fulfillment look like for you? What does it feel like for you to be a human being or a man and say, man, not because I'm performing, not because you love me, not because I'm got a mask on,
Not because I earned
but
it.
not because I earned it. Just I'm emotionally fulfilled in this moment. I feel accepted, I feel seen, I feel loved. What does that look like for you? And for a lot of dualistic signs and a dualistic deacon, that's like, damn, I don't have that pity party, or damn, I remember the days where I didn't have that, and I'm so grateful that I have that now.
Mhm.
And I say, like, for most people, like, it's not about doing this shit alone. It's about figuring out how to resolve conflict and figure it out with other people, so you're not going to be emotionally fulfilled by yourself. Let's, like, come on now.
That don't work.
How does that make sense?
Mhm.
It is a chemistry that's at play. It's a chemical bond that's taking place. It's a hormonal thing that's taking place that represents some shit that you can't hide.
Yeah,
Mhm.
at every being's core, they want to be seen at a particular level. They want to be heard at a particular level. They want to be celebrated at a particular level. You can only do but so much of that shit for yourself by yourself.
Yeah, that's crazy. Come on now. This is 12th house. The moon in the 12th house. It's over trying to do it alone. That don't make sense.
Mhm.
Because
Mhm.
you don't get kudos for saying I did it on my own.
Mhm.
You don't get nothing for that. You're gonna have a lot of people just going the other way while you just championing yourself. And again, you'll be alone. So
And that era is over with, y'all. We off of that.
been done that. That shit been over with, yo. It's the reason why these women are running around here screaming their independence and still ain't got a man or family or love to show for it, right? Because they've essentially turned themselves into something that they're not. So, like, we have to get out of this concept of thinking that independence is the way. There's no such thing as independence because everybody needs something from someone else. Might as well cooperate in the beginning.
Yeah, man. Easier said than done, because if you never been taught about conflict resolution,
Yeah.
every conflict,
In the right.
we talking about fight or flight. So I can illustrate it very clearly. Somebody put it in a tough situation, you either going to walk away or
Mhm.
you going to fight. You're not going to resolve the conflict and find peace in the situation. How many bridges have to be burnt for people to fully understand that? And so you see it in the chart with the moon square the sun, right? The same square And Tyler Perry's chart is just inverted from Scorpio to no, it was Sagittarius to Leo,
Yeah,
right?
Yeah, yeah.
Right, and then it's inverted here from Pisces to Gemini, where it's like, all right, the love that we're really out here seeking is we got to do this inner work. But then right now it's like shit. I don't want to do this shit alone though. I want to be authentic in my expression of doing this alchemy, right? And that's valid. But what's the problem? The programming say it's okay to be single, and you validated that experience by what? I don't need no nigga.
Mm-hmm.
I don't need no nigga.
Mm-hmm.
I don't need no nigga. I don't need no nigga. Like, see, the thing about me hood is that I could do this shit by myself. I don't need
I
no nigga to
always
help
thought
me
you
raise
could,
these
bud.
kids. I don't
You
need
always
no
thought
nigga. Right. And it's like, that's a crazy disposition to just kind of, to program yourself to say, and
Mhm.
then
Yeah, that
you
rose
have
toy
to
is gonna get
live
lost
in
in a minute.
a man.
Yeah, I think
Electric.
in reference to what y'all saying, like it always kind of feel like, damn, I gotta have this conversation. But after you have that difficult conversation, you actually feel better. You know what I mean? Especially like in a relationship, after y'all talk, y'all be best buds. You know what I mean? But if y'all irritated with each other, avoiding each other, hate this motherfucker. See, that's why I need to get on with this other bitch that's at the gym, and you know what I mean, saying all that dumb shit. And then once y'all had that talk, it's like, damn, I was fucking tripping. I'm wilding out. You know what I mean? I gotta check that shit. You know, is doing the shit that's uncomfortable, because after you do it, you feel good. You know what I mean? Like
Yeah.
is and for me, my sun sign is in the second deacon of Pisces. So for me, it's almost like a personal new moon. And for me right now, it's just like making that pact with myself, you know, to really, optimally use my time wisely, you know, and from like starting boxing, it's been a real positive thing for me to really be able to express like the aggression that I got built up, about life, and just being a male, and then you factor in, the semen retention. Like I need something to do with this testosterone, you know what I mean? Besides fighting the urge to see bitches with the fat ass and shaking
That
on
shit
Instagram.
will have you climbing the walls if you don't do
Yeah,
nothing constructive.
yeah, that's yeah. So, learning a skill, building relationships and camaraderie with people, you know what I mean, that's been in the sport, and I know for some people it's crazy, like, damn, you about to box. Yeah, man, it's kind of fun to get punched and then punch somebody back.
That's a fact. That's a fact.
Yeah, and I don't think everybody has to do that in particular, but I've really been like channeling the hormone of testosterone, and like is not about sitting around and chilling out. You know what I mean? It's just not that. It'll it'll do some crazy shit before it just sit around and chill. It's almost like a 13-year-old boy. If you don't give him something to do, he gonna get into shit. He just is. And it's not that he a bad kid. He just gonna get into shit.
He got to fill up his time some way.
Yeah, and it's the same thing. You know what I mean? That I think that thing never goes away for men. It's just when you factor in society and
it doesn't
and all the other shit. But we got to continue to do stuff and use our energy.
Yeah,
do something.
Yeah, I totally love what you're saying, because the idea of incorporating something that you've never done before, and then that thing that you've incorporated, like I think that's boxing, or like that level of competition is one of the best forms of resistance that there is, and that's one of my philosophies. Like resistance is the way. Like if you're not challenged, how will you ever know how strong you actually are? you know, or the ability and the possibility of your ability, like going forward, if you're not tested. So like you can do 1,000 push-ups, but if no one has ever thrown a punch at you, you ain't shit. You know what I'm saying? Like it don't matter. You know what I'm saying? Like it's big for nothing right now. Because if I hit you in your face and you can't react in time, you know what I'm saying? Like, so resistance is the way. Because once you get through the resistance, everything else is peachy. It's you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Now I'm second nature. Now you're expecting that. Not only you're expecting it, but you know where it's coming from, as opposed to the uncertainty of where it's coming from and the anxiety that builds because of that. You know what I'm saying?
And I think all humans
My nigga Hood rolls, right? Don't you roll, right, Hood?
Mm-hmm.
See? Niggas don't roll. The fuck?
Yeah.
You ain't gonna put niggas on the boat like
that's some
Ever
serious.
since that slavery shit, we said fuck these boats. I want to figure it out, man. Yeah. Niggas got PTSD from that shit, man. There'll be no black people on the fucking river, dog.
Yeah, I always
never no niggas on the river when we on the canoe.
I learned how to swim at like 10 years old, but throughout my whole life, all I keep hearing about is black people that can't swim, and I'm just like foreign to me. You know what I'm saying? Like niggas is traumatized, so traumatized they ain't getting in the water, my guy.
Man, I'm telling you, man, that fucking Middle Passage was a doozy, man.
I feel like people should seek out different ways to express themselves, especially the aggressive, competitive part of ourselves. You know what I mean? Because you don't end up, because the thing about it, like it is going to be expressed one way or another. You know what I mean? You can't suppress, you know, the expression of your soul. You know what I mean? Like it's just myriad of different ones, but I think the one that wants to compete, wants to be aggressive, even wants to be violent to a certain level, has to have some type of outlet, you know, because you will just spaz out on your friend. You might spaz out on your parent, your child, you know what I mean? Like we need to seek out more avenues to express the different aspects of our soul, you know, because we're not supposed to be one way and then suppress the other feelings that we have. Like I be telling my girl, she get real competitive about Connect Four, but she's good. She's really good at it. I'm like, you should join a ping pong league or join a Connect Four league. You never know, you know, because it's there. You know what I mean? Don't try to act like, well, I don't want it. Nah, I want to do it. You know what I mean? Like even if you jumping up and down, like in your face. You know,
in your face.
You gotta allow it to be expressed. And I think if you can find a very constructive way to express it, you know, I think that helps the collective. You know, overall, you have less just on edge aggressive motherfuckers for no reason. Like what I'm mad for. You know what I mean? Like go do something with that energy, man. You know. But
yeah, because the energy becomes so dormant. The energy becomes so dormant because niggas not doing nothing with it, and then you have to do something, right? And then you can't even control what it is that you're doing because you have to channel that shit somewhere. I had a random question before we decided to get off. I just wanted to ask both of you brothers, like, is the concept of the men and women in relationships competing with one another, is that something that only we do?
I would say no.
Okay. I was just wondering because I heard somebody say that online the other day, like black women and black men are the only ones that want to compete with one another in their relationship.
I mean, it's not a thing that we go through as black people that's foreign from any other group of people given the same set of circumstances and situations. Whereas that would say a rich black affluent neighborhood have nothing but gang banging and and drug dealing. Cause
Mhm.
no, it's not because they rich and they don't need to sell drugs. They don't need to gang bang. So but Chinese gangbangers exist when they impoverished and they don't have money. They join the yakuza. You
Mhm.
don't think about Chinese people as being gangsters or whatever. All I'm saying is the problems that black people have are the problem that people have.
Mhm.
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 They just want to
Mhm.
frame it as just our problem.
Yeah, that's
Mhm.
stupid.
Mhm.
That's
Mhm.
dumb, and you'll never get nowhere thinking that way because it's a whole level of psychological experimentation between gender norms and gender biases and things of that nature to get you some type of clarity, especially like conflict resolution or animus, Carl Jung. Like a nigga would be like, man, I had a vision of an 80-year-old white guy and a black prostitute and I said, that's my higher self right there, right? You gotta get deep into this shit, or else, you know what I'm saying, you're gonna be arguing with your girl every night. You know what I'm
Ah,
saying?
Mhm. Mhm.
you got to
Mhm.
peel those layers back.
You gotta
Mhm.
peel layers back, bro. You
Yep.
can't be so rigid into saying, well, guys don't think about stuff like that. Like, no, you're a soul and any thought that have been thought, you've thought about it. So cut the dumb shit. Let's do alchemy
Yeah.
and figure out how you're gonna move forward
Mhm.
and not be caught up on your psychosis.
That's a fact. Yeah, I mean, I think that's another one of those things that's part of our job. As as the initial.
Mic check. Mic check.
Hear me?
You can't hear, Gilbert?
Mic check. 1 2 1 2.
I don't think he can hear us.
I don't think you can hear us. We can hear you. All right, man. That's probably the cue,
Yeah,
man. We're
uh,
gonna get up out of here for the evening.
happening now.
Be sure to jump back in a little later, maybe on TikTok, YouTube. Who knows? We'll be here.
We'll be around.
Woo!
Yes, sir. Peace to the
No,
tribe. Peace
both
to
of them ain't
the
froze.
Look,
collective.
yeah,
Peace. He in the matrix